Oh man, I almost said good morning again. Y'all think I'm
You
bull stuffing,
did. Yeah, it
man.
was like coming out of your mouth. I could just hear it, but you stopped yourself.
It, man, I'm excited. I am 1000% excited. Man, I love seeing good-hearted people, especially our veterans, military, killing it, man, doing great things for each other, building businesses. And man, today's show, I've been super, super pumped for this. I know the pack has been pumped for it. And man, and you've already what? How many interviews you had with these guys already? I'm a little jealous. How'd it
Oh,
go to you
come on.
first, man?
You know what? I did get a chance to talk to them. We did have a wonderful show, but hey, look, I'm just excited. This is my second time to be a co-host with you. So, like that alone, like I may
Man,
just drop out because of that.
yeah. Hey, redneck Oprah right here, baby. You got it. Yeah,
Ah!
all about it. Good times, man. So I don't have my. I've been trying to show that funnel cloud over my house a couple weeks ago, but
Oh, wow.
I man, I've been so I can't say it. I'm finally. Hey, everybody, nobody watched the first 2 minutes of this show anyway. But hey, I've finally taken a vacation. I know there's pigs flying and yeah, man, it's unbelievable. Finally,
Look out.
finally.
Look out.
Yeah, but it's with kids, so I'm probably gonna need a vacation from the vacation, man. Especially my kids, man. Can you imagine my DNA running around, in a car for 12 hours? It's gonna be rough, right? So,
Please.
oh man. Hey,
Please.
kids are like little drunk people. Yeah, have you noticed that? It's like
Listen, I've seen
something's right.
in posts talking, having your kids or Jackie Halberg. When you met Jackie, you had some of your siblings with you. You had some of your kids with you, not your siblings, your kids.
That didn't count. They don't misbehave at Burger King in front of strangers, Chasing. Come on, man. The daddy pick them up, spank them in Burger King. I'm old school. I turned 1950s dad, man. I'm like, I rolled the newspaper up, bap, bap, knock it off Republic. All
Oh my
right, so
goodness.
do we have anybody here? It's summertime. Everybody's out playing, and nobody's paying attention to their sundials. So I mean, we're on different platforms, man. So I tell you what, how about we run the intro and we get these
Yep.
amazing guys up here and just tell the folks how they can plug in and really just kill it, man. It's unbelievable. I can't wait to learn more. So Sindal, young lady, it's your turn.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high level, heart centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
Tanya Eberhart, you go.
Matt, I was over here playing in the chats and I knew I was going to get caught.
Uh
So,
huh.
uh, but let's pop it up because we have done a lot of good things together. Tanya Everhart, man, brand face. It's just amazing the support they give people. Michael Carr, her partner in real estate, be the blessing. You just, I mean, again, who doesn't want to be around heart centered, high level professionals like this? Unbelievable, man.
They're
The people we
fantastic.
roll with.
They're
Yeah, I
fantastic.
mean,
And
it,
here's the crazy thing. I didn't realize until your recent show that he has bees. Like the guy has got a nonprofit and he's a beekeeper. Get out. Like every time I talk to them, every time I
dude.
see a show, I learn something new. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they made me look good. I mean, so there you go. Like, right? Like they saw me and they said, "Man, this guy's on the right track, wrong train." And again, they've helped a lot of people. They give back, and I get to meet them. Hey, next week on the way back, Friday, I get to meet them face to face. I can't wait, man.
Nice.
I haven't been, dude. I wasn't even that excited to see Santa Claus, man. I'm telling you. So, want to make sure that folks see this. Hey, go back on Chasen's HR for you. Go back and watch this on their YouTube. All right, this was a great show. I got to see clips of it. Uh, I can't go back. Can't wait to go back and watch all of it. But go back and check this out. That was a fantastic show. I know that because people were telling me about it, and people don't text me about everything, right? And they were like, "Wow, that was a great show," and I'm like, "Heck yeah, it was." So now that's why I brought you here, because I'm like, well, hell, if I just do it on my show, I'll have a great show.
There you
So
go.
I'll be a pretty face today.
Pretty
Yeah.
face. Look out.
So
Look
I'll
out.
tell you what, how about we go ahead and Chasen, hey, the floor is yours. Bring these folks in and let's get everybody out there. The pack is running in the house now. And by the way,
Yes.
audience, hey, comment. This is your show, man. This is happy hour. You worked hard. It's summertime. Have fun. Ask questions. Get to know each other. Don't pitch slap with a P, right? Don't do that stuff. But connect, follow each other, ask good questions, man. This is your show. Have a ball. Jason, lead us, buddy.
All right, come on in, guys. Great to have the guys from Corsa Racing in the house. We got JT, we've got Peter Glazer, we've got Chris Farrington, we've got Blake Sufferling. I mean, good grief. This is a fantastic group of people doing amazing work. And we're going to dive in what we did last time on my show, and I want to do it here on this show with you, Mike, is I want them to introduce themselves. So on my screen right now, JT, you're at the top. So if you could introduce yourself and then say why you joined Corsa Racing, I would appreciate it. And then I'll call out the next person.
So Jamie JT Molinex, done 30 years in the military. 15 of that was in special operations. However, I'm not a SF guy, but I still was on the special operations side of the house as civil affairs. Met these guys. Well, I met Peter when I was the AOB senior enlisted guy down at JRTC, which is the Joint Readiness Training Center. And so now I work at JRTC and NTC. That's where I'm at now. Which is the National Training Center. June, they gave me a call and asked me if I would be willing to row. And I looked at the pitch deck. We all looked at it, reworked it, and I'm happy to be with these three fine, outstanding veterans and for us to row across the Pacific to give back, like we say, veterans giving back to veterans.
That's fantastic. Blake, you're up.
Hey, yeah, Blake Sufferling, currently living in Charleston, South Carolina. Finished a 10, yeah, we love it here. It's great. Come on, visit us. Finished a 10-year career in the military after graduating from college, where I was an infantry officer and then a special forces officer. Met Pete during a block of education called the Alpha course, which is a distinct portion of the special forces qualification course. Fell in love with him, his heart, and we just stayed in touch. He focused during his operational time as a Green Beret. He focused on Europe and spoke Russian and worked on that problem set. And then I focused on the Middle East. So we lived in two different places, but stayed in touch and realized as we started to transition out of the military last year that there were a lot of people within our community that were struggling. And we needed a more high-touch, longer-term program within the community to help guys stay accountable, stay physically fit, be encouraged to be authentic, and to address some of the things that they were feeling that maybe they hadn't felt before. So, yeah, super glad to be here, and thank you so much for having me, and it's great to meet everybody.
Listen, don't let my wife hear you, because she's on the YouTube channel, so I don't see her comments, but don't let her hear you say that we could come visit you in Charleston, because she'll make that happen.
The guest bedroom's right there. Heard it first.
On the boat, Jason. Come for a row. You can bring your wife with you.
I'm happy to do that. We were talking about that earlier. Like, that's the surefire way that I will get rid of this 40 nagging pounds that is in my journey, guys, my journey of losing.
There you go.
And if I don't, I see Kelly Steinica in the comments. If I don't introduce you guys to Kelly Steinica, she works with Wheelchairs for Warriors. She also has an amazing podcast. Kelly, I am sorry. I am now doing it live, and I'm introducing you live. So, and I'll make that happen on LinkedIn as well. Chris, you are up, sir. Tell us about you and why you joined Corsa Racing.
Yeah, so Chris Farrington, I joined the Army back in 2004, did a stint in the 82nd Airborne as an infantryman for about 4 years and some change, and then went over to the Special Forces qualification course, successfully graduated, and then went to 5th group, and I've been there since for about 15 years now, getting on 16. I'll finish my 20-year retirement here in March, and then I'll be doing this in school afterwards. Yeah, so I guess how I got into this is Blake gave me a phone call and was like, hey, man, I sent you a link. Check it out. And I was like, yeah, it looks cool, man. I know, it's crazy. Neat. He's like, well, what do you think about it? And I was like, yeah, it's crazy. It's neat. What do you want? He's like, I'm doing it. Do you want to do it with me? Looked up at my wife because I was on speakerphone, and that's the boss, and she was like, say yes. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. And
Nice.
so since then, first it was about like growing the ocean, and that's all I needed to hear, and hanging out with Blake, and then I met Pete and obviously JT, and then now it's it's a mission focused thing that's really been helping me out as I transition out of the military and not doing the things that I was doing a year ago. So it's given me a lot of focus and drive, and yeah, I love it.
That's awesome. I never get tired of hearing that story. I never get tired of hearing that story. And your wife in the background, before you even said anything, going, say yes.
Oh, yeah. I knew I couldn't send it without looking up at her at least, because the cat was out of the bag. I was on speakerphone.
Hey, real quick, I want to shout out. We talked about Kelly. Jamie Rochbrook. I probably misspelled her or mispronounced her last name. Also veteran. Also does a lot of things to help with the suicide prevention and mental wellness. Want to give shout out to Jamie. I knew she wouldn't miss this one. I knew she had the alarm set for this one.
She
Absolutely.
is
Thank you.
absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Jamie, for being in here. Thank you for what you do for other veterans. Thank you for having conversations. She's had conversations with some of the veterans that I am mentoring with ACP that are transitioning out of the military. And when they've got things going on with the VA or whatnot, she is like, you got to hear her story in order to understand. But she is the most knowledgeable person I've ever met in that battle of how to get everything you need. So it's a great person to have in the wheelhouse.
Dude, I'm telling you, the pack is full of it, man. We got colonels and Marine Corps officers. I mean, y'all got to jump in the pack.
Where is the colonel? Where is the colonel? I don't see him yet, but
he's building his Lego set. That's what he's doing.
He is. I love him to death. Oh my goodness. I will have to tease him if Scott Heathman doesn't get in here. All right, Peter, you are up, sir. Pete, come on.
Nice. You guys saved the best for last. Is that the plan? Right.
Absolutely.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm pretty disappointed with myself because I realized about 15 minutes ago that it was a huge mistake to not be wearing the same exact hat that Mike's wearing right now. And if the four of us had showed up with that, it would have been a totally different vibe. Next time, I guess. I know Chris was texting us on the side, like, I'm looking for my Boonie hat from like 2003 or something. I was like, dude, I wish you would have found it.
Dude,
so
best $2 I spent, man.
I love
best
it.
$2 I ever
That's
spent.
your brand. We won't steal it from you, but we might. I have a similar background as Blake. I did 10 years in the Army on active duty. I went to undergrad at Auburn University, where I did ROTC, joined the infantry, did a year of that, went over to the 75th Ranger Regiment, and then after that, off to Special Forces in Colorado, and looking at the Europe problem set. And Corsa racing, honestly, it started because I was on vacation with my wife in Antigua, and the Atlantic row was finishing, and I took a picture of these boats that we had just walked past because it was a total coincidence, and sent it to Blake, and he was all in. And that was before any of us were in the process of transitioning out of the military. So it started out as we were just trying to field a team and do this. It was going to be epic. And then it morphed into this kind of powerful platform where we can give back through fundraising. And then even more so morphed into really focusing on veteran transitions. As we were getting out over the past years, I've been out for about exactly a year. A lot of friends, acquaintances, and people we know are committing suicide. And so we kind of realized that, through our community we've built here, we can provide a lot more. And then the last thing I'll say is, because Blake kind of mentioned it, there's a ton of veteran organizations out there. It just seems like a lot of them are more like clubs, you know what I mean? And they almost expect you to be the one giving. And what we want to do is give to the veterans. Like we want to be like, they're trying to figure out, I've got to get a job. I've got to figure out my disability. I've got to figure out where I'm going to live and how to balance this new life. We want to be there to provide and not require that they give. And that's where this kind of, turned into a really heavy focus on veterans and mental health, and really just getting guys out on the water to experience community, the ocean, and something new and exciting. And if they're down for the long haul, to cross an ocean in a rowboat.
So we'll stick, we're going to stay with you, Pete, and really, what is the mission, vision, and purpose of Corsa Racing? You mentioned part of it in your intro, but what's the mission, vision, and purpose of Corsa Racing?
Yeah, so our mission is to provide a therapeutic experience for veterans, specifically utilizing nature is what we use on our pitch deck, but really getting guys out on the ocean. That's kind of as simple as it gets. We don't want to expand beyond the simplicity there. And then the purpose is to combat mental health challenges, PTSD, and injuries that were accumulated over a service member's military experience. And kind of when you get into vision, we want to grow this to where we own a fleet of boats, and we're catering to the law enforcement and first responder community as well, because they're honestly probably more of heroes than us, and they go through the ringer with their jobs and the sleep cycles and the things they have to see. So I hope that's brief enough.
No, it's
and I'll hand it over to
fantastic.
the boys if I missed anything there.
Real quick, I think LinkedIn's glitching. Uh-oh.
You all right? So
my whole screen froze. I don't know what.
Oh no, you're okay. We can hear you. Everything's
You're
good.
sitting in the forest right now.
You said because I'm sitting in the woods. That's what.
That's
How do
it.
you get
I
Wi-Fi in the woods? I love this because there's resources out there to help people, but they don't relate to it. Right? I was a fireman for 8 years. I didn't want to hear some therapist or somebody just tell me what I needed to do. But when you guys say, "Hey, I've been there, done that," you got respect, man. Military service, special forces. You can really make people go, well, these guys are saying it. Maybe it's true, right? Maybe I do need to face this. So is that kind of what motivated you guys to do this? Because there's tons of people.
Oh yeah.
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 Go ahead,
let me talk about that, because that's totally where my heart is, and Pete and Chris, and this whole thing has been really cool because I feel like we've built a really strong foundation, and that the four of us we do our best to be authentic and transparent with each other, to have hard conversations, but also to encourage each other and talk about like where we're at. And when I get to see Chris interact with a young, specialist or sergeant, or I see Pete interacting with, some staff sergeant that he's never met before and has nothing in common with, I just see so much like humility and grace, and it's so refreshing. And I feel like we create a culture that's like, super authentic and down to earth, and hey man, we don't have it figured all out. And we want to, just exactly to your point, Mike, like we want to be able to use like our experiences and take all that stuff that we went through, that other people go through, life is hard, and weaponize it and use that stuff to help other people, which would be like, a life well lived. So it's definitely near and dear to where our hearts, and hopefully, we get enough of a platform where we can help guys in that like 6 to 12 month transition, getting out of the military, encouraging them to address traumas that they've dealt with in the past that maybe some of their close friends don't feel comfortable talking to them about. Like I will for sure 100% be like, I'll put all of my stuff out there for people and be like, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm coming from. And everybody else in this group does the exact same thing, which I think is super unique, because you were in the firefighter community. That's a tough community, like hard men and women over there. Hard men and women in the police force, hard men and women. And I think it takes, somebody who's been through some stuff to like encourage other people.
That's
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I want to call out the fact that Dr. Leland is in the house. This lady is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And she is, all right, there's the comment. She's inviting you guys to this event. So if you can swing this somehow, maybe we'll help you get some sponsors so that all of you guys can go. You bring the boat, you can go do this with, I've had the chance to be on a couple of Dr. Leland's shows. She's got bazillions of followers all over, especially she has her own TV station. I mean, it's like, it's incredible. She's incredible. And Sandra, I've had a chance to meet with as well. She is unbelievable. That lady is unbelievable. So
Absolutely.
if we can make this happen, I would love to make this happen to where you guys can meet them and be part of that as well. Oh, I see my wife now. She may have missed the other comment about South Carolina. Hey, we got an invite to go to Charleston, baby. I'll tell you about it later.
See, I wasn't joking about the pack, man.
See?
And by the way, CJ, she brings her Level Up Academy and Publicity Hub and brings it to here. I mean, this is a community, man. We love it. And we love you guys with your sacrifice
Sandra.
and service.
There's Sandra.
Is she here?
Yeah, she's here. All right, so
Oh,
that's
wow.
awesome. We'll have to get you guys connected with all of them. So I want to go. I want to stay on this theme. I know there's a ton of questions and we've got so much time, but I want to stay on this theme because we kind of hit on this last time, and JT started talking a little bit about it in our previous show, and then you guys kind of opened the door here. I want to know, JT, how you feel this is going to help other veterans and first responders with getting out some of the things that are really going on and dealing with the issues that, society tries to make you feel like you shouldn't be expressing, and you absolutely should. So I just would like to know your perspective there, because we just tiny touched on it in the last show. So.
Okay. So first off, I would like to say hey to Jamie. I think her last name is Roshbrook. If I say it wrong, I'm sorry. So I think maybe it was last week, I'd got an invite to her LinkedIn, and we were talking, and I know that she does a lot about suicide prevention, stuff like that. And so for me, it hits home because a lot of people don't know, but these four guys do. Right when I was getting ready to get out of the military, things weren't going the way that I thought they would be. It was a hard time and a hard transition. And I focused more on my job of finishing instead of going to go get the mental help that I needed for the 20 years of being at war. So luckily the bullet didn't go off. So I'm sitting here today and doing this role. And so that is what drives me to do this and to be better and to give that kind of information back to the individuals and into our community that, hey, they are things out there. They are people that are willing to help. You don't keep it bottled up inside. Talk to your brothers and sisters and get the help that you need. I should have known that as a leader, but I didn't, because I was just like, hey, 20 years of war, I bottled everything up. I didn't want to talk to people about my past. There's some things that I still don't talk about the past, but again, I'm more open, and that's what drives me to this course of racing.
First of all, thank you for sharing that. And I think it's incredible, including what Blake said, that not only are you guys have the courage enough to share like what you just shared, but also have the courage to share with each other and have the courage to stand and in the gap to help people that are struggling and are going to use Course of Racing to help them with some of that. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. And there's a lot of fantastic people in the Hounds, and as they're popping, I just see them flashing on the screen here. But I mean, it's absolutely incredible the amount of people that are going to support you, that are supporting you. And I hope we get a million eyeballs on what you're doing. And we're going to be talking about it at a couple of points in the course of this conversation. But I don't want people to forget that in order for them to do the things they are doing, they need your help. So just like any other nonprofit, most of you know me, I run a nonprofit myself. It isn't easy. And there is a lot of challenges. And these guys need your help. They need your volunteering. They need you to connect them with other people. And they need the blessings of your financial gains. So when you are open to giving and you're looking for an organization to give, please give to these guys in Corsa Racing. Please help them to help other veterans helping veterans and first responders. That's a large portion of our community, a large portion of the Hounds of Business, and a lot of the people that we see in our group and networks. I think Dr. C.J. Leland just said that 95% of her students are veterans. So I think it's really important that we do that. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about that amazing pitch deck that you guys have. That's fantastic. So I appreciate that very much. I want to go and actually talk about the training schedule that you guys are working on now, and then tie that into the 2025 race specifics. So whoever wants to, actually, Chris, if you want to jump in here, now that your screen's not going upside down, it's like I kept watching you, like, oh man, the dude. Every time you moved your finger, I'm like, you're upside down.
Hey. First of all, Special Forces Weapons Sergeant, we don't do technology. Look it up, Google it.
Look it up.
Look it up.
I can attest with that. I worked with him for 2 years, and it was a constant battle, and he was a huge liability.
Oh my!
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Don't worry. Hey,
any of that?
I'll hang on there.
You go. Yeah. If you need something destroyed, a target to be taken down, like all for it. I'm the guy.
True.
That's fire department. I can tear stuff up, but I can't build it that well, man. I'm with. There you go.
Yeah, I was off to the side text. Like, can you guys see me? I don't.
You're doing great, man.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just picking on you. So training schedule.
So we have something lined up once a month, and it's like a hybrid of getting on the water and doing stuff, but also trying to fundraise, because that's our biggest hurdle right now is one, being able to afford this. So it typically goes, Thursday show up at Blake's house, get the boat set up, prep to go. Friday from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. row, and then get to somewhere that will like host us and get the word out, especially, around Charleston, big boat community there. And then Saturday, no matter how late we stayed out, Friday night, Saturday, back on the boat, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then back to another place to just spread the word and get donors. And then Sunday is just straight up clean the boat out, because 4 men on these boats for 12 hours straight it gets disgusting. So
it's like living in a fighting position. It's no different than being in a fighting position.
Yeah, you start to learn who are your messy kids like real quick. So, but yeah, that's kind of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I jumped in, but you guys had this amazing Dallas event with the museum that you were talking about this just now, like so tell everybody about that situation and what happened there.
Tell us how you got there. That's the best part.
Oh man. Yeah. So, BGI hosted us at an air museum in Dallas, Texas. And we're small. We're small fries right now. So we're doing everything on our own. And it starts with, well, we have a trailer and a boat now. How are we getting it there? And it goes from renting a car and then driving it 20 hours to then the car having the check engine light in and us trying to swap it to, they don't have trucks. So I'm in the middle of Dallas. This is all after the event. The event went very well, but after the event,
the truck broke after the event in downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I've got this wonderful picture of skyscrapers and an ocean boat in the middle of Texas.
In the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
Middle of big thing. Fantastic.
I'm just like loitering in this parking lot, hoping that, somebody doesn't tell me to move it, because there's no truck. And Blake is off at Hertz. He's at all these different companies trying to get a truck, none of which have any kind of like towing capability. So he's like, "Oh man, I'm just gonna get a U-Haul." And so the plan was to get a box truck and drive it, an empty box truck, mind you, and drive it.
We don't have money for this, so this is coming out of our pockets. We're like, goodness,
so
dude.
We're pulling out the credit cards and just hoping for the best. And then I end up calling a buddy of mine who, honestly, I've never met in person. I just know through a friends group. I'm like, "Hey, you're in Texas, right?" And he's like, "Yep, I'm in Austin." And I was like, "Oh, that's right next to Dallas. Come get us and drive us to Charleston." He's like, "First of all, I'll be there in 3 hours because Austin's not close to Dallas." He's like, "But yeah, I'm in." And then we got that all squared away, and he drove us to, again, a veteran, like he was all about it, and drove us to Charleston.
Former Marine and Secret Service guy.
Yeah,
incredible human being. It was like the highlight. It was a huge highlight because like meeting him and connecting with him was super impactful and powerful. Yeah. And then he was going to go see his sister up in Virginia, but she fell ill at the time. So they were like, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't come." And he ended up staying in Charleston. I live near the beach. So he ended up staying in Charleston and just hanging out at the beach. And we went to dinner every night, like old friends.
Wow.
It was awesome.
But that's how powerful the veteran network is. I went to Sackets Harbor this weekend, and all the, my team they're all working. They couldn't make it. So I literally reached out to another friend I worked with in the past and was like, "Hey man, I know you have a truck. Do you want to drive to Charleston, then drive upstate New York?" And he was like, "Yeah." He put in a leave form. We went to upstate New York. It was about a little over 1,800 miles total up and back. So 30 hours of driving and 2 days of being in a parade and everything else. But, with no questions asked other than, "Are you going to help me with gas?" I'm like, "Yep." That's it. So.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, these guys made a decision on like a Monday to drive 20 hours on a Tuesday for an event on a Wednesday. And BGI is like our biggest sponsor, and parking the boat there at their company event was a huge highlight. The entire party came out, and there's so many questions that come up when you literally just look at this boat. That's how I learned about ocean rowing, was walking past one with my wife in Antigua. But that's why we like to drive it around and show people, because the sport's I'm not even going to say it's not well known in the U.S. It's basically unheard of in the U.S. Insurance companies they don't even know how to insure these boats. You know what I mean? It's a very foreign concept in America, but we're going to try to bring it here to the States from the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say in Sackets Harbor, everyone was like, "You're doing what with this boat?" I'm like, "I'm taking this missile-like canoe across the ocean." They're like, "I don't think you are." I'm like, "I promise you I am."
Missile seats.
You're going to see it. Okay, so this blew me away. All right, audience in the comments, can you even drive 800 miles without stopping 600 times? Because I'm looking at this map going, okay, from one side of Hawaii to the other, I think I would die 6 times. So guys, what kind of training and preparation, are you putting into this? And folks, what goes into this? Is a lot of dedication, man. This ain't something you just do. You don't eat a cheeseburger and do this stuff, right?
Lots of rowing on your Concept 2 in the garage, and we don't row 30 miles over the weekend. We don't mess around. Like, we're not going a mile and coming back to me like that felt good. We're breaking ourselves just so that we ensure that we're ready for this.
Well, where's the hotel? I didn't see a hotel on that map, man. Is there no floating hotel or anything? Is it just like...
Hey, we've got a little one-person cabin on either end of the boat that you can take a nap in. And hey, if you want to call it a hotel, we'll charge you a couple $100 a night. It'll be cheap.
The hotel.
Yeah. Hey, you can write that one off too. We're a 501c3.
So
there's no DoorDash, huh? Okay.
Yeah. We have two of the boats here in Charleston right now. Both of them are manufactured by a company called Rannoch, Rannoch. They're based out of the UK. One of them is what's called an R45. The other one is an RX45. The difference being some of the dimensions and the weight. because one of them is carbon fiber and the other is carbon fiber, or one of them is carbon fiber and fiberglass, and the other one's just fiberglass. The boats are between 31 and 33 feet in length. They have a cabin on either side, so a bow cabin and a stern cabin, and they're about 5.5 feet wide across the beam. You have storage along the center line, and you have 3 rowing positions in the middle of the boat. You can see there, they're actually manning 3 sets of oars, so they're rowing 3 up right there. That would be what you would row at the beginning or at the end, but most of the time you're going to be rowing 2 people on the oars for 2 hours at a time, and then the other 2 are resting and recovering, conducting hygiene or refueling their bodies to get back on the oars in 2 hours. And you do that on a 24-hour cycle, so it's nonstop. You can see there on that picture that was just there, there's 2 solar panels, one on the bow and one on the stern. Those solar panels power lithium-ion batteries within the centerline hatch. Those batteries power all of the electronics on the boat. So on the boat, you've got VHF, you've got satellite, SATCOM capability. You also have a chart plotter, like your standard marine chart plotter. And that chart plotter is connected to what's called an auto tiller made by Raymarine. So in this boat, you can set an azimuth and it will hold you on that azimuth, so you don't have to spend time and energy focusing on steering the boat, which is really special. The boat also has a Schenker 30 water maker, which is an Italian company. They usually install them in larger sailboats, but the water maker converts salt water to fresh water using a pump. And so all of these parts and pieces we have on hand and we inventory like we're in the military, but all of those parts and pieces degrade over time. So we have spares for those as well. On average, you're going to row with a team of 4 across the Pacific Ocean is going to carry 5 million calories on the boat and have about 2, maybe 3 outfits total. So, I mean, it's like fast and loose. You're focused on safety. You're harnessed into the boat using what's called a PLB-1, using like your standard climbing harness. And then you have a indicator radio beacon on your hip. And then you also have what's called an EPIRB, which is for the vessel. It's an electronic personal indicator radio beacon. You'll see those on larger vessels, but if things were to go really, really bad, we can fire that off, and that would stay with the life craft or the vessel if we can save it. I hope that gives you an overview of the boat and some of the training.
And the one that's in that picture, which one is that? Which one of the Rannocs is that?
That's the R45, the one you just saw. The RX45 is the carbon fiber version. It's a little bit narrower. It's not as steady. All of these boats are self-righting. So in the event that they do get tossed in a 20 or 30 foot swell, which is very common, everyone is harnessed, is wrapped in the boat. The boat will self-right. You climb back in the boat, figure it out. That's an R45 right there. So that's the older model.
Okay.
These boats typically last. The first one that was ever made just crossed the ocean for the 10th time without doing any maintenance other than replacing a wiring harness. So they are indestructible, which is really cool and kind of leads into the nonprofit, right? Because once we have the boats, we've got the payments, and we've kind of tamped down all of our costs associated with the boats and the equipment. All we're going to be using our money for is to pay to get veterans out once we cross the ocean and we become subject matter experts. So you can see that boat. I mean, they're beautiful in real life.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous.
So there's a couple of questions in the comments that there's a million comments. So I just happen to see this. Scott Heathman, the Colonel, joining the conversation as well. I know you guys met because we talked about it before the show that you and I did previously. Robert Hamilton Owens, you guys talked to him. I know that you guys all know him.
Great guy.
You know about his rowing across the Atlantic. And the boats that he was on or the boat that he was on in his training process. And I know that you guys have been in touch with him. One of the questions came out from Dr. Leland. She missed this earlier and wanted to know why you guys were doing this again. She missed that part. So would you mind for people that came late, because we had a whole bunch of people that dropped in about halfway through, would you mind repeating why you're doing this?
Yeah, we're rowing across the ocean, this long row to Hawaii. That's largely to raise awareness and to kind of attack the pinnacle of ocean rowing as our maiden voyage, but the nonprofit exists to support veterans that are transitioning or out of the military by building a community around ocean rowing, getting people outside, being in a space where you can talk about your experiences. But yeah, the big long row that's an organized race, and it is kind of like the pinnacle of ocean rowing. I said it on the last episode, but more people have been to outer space than have rowed across the Pacific Ocean. Just by completing this mission, we should be eligible for a handful of world records, because no all American veteran team has done it. No all American veteran soft team has done it, etc. So it's still very new. And we think that doing that row not only is going to make us subject matter experts in the sport, it'll raise awareness and it'll allow us to train others and teach others and kind of build this community on a more local level. Down the road, we'd like to do shorter excursions and provide opportunities for people that don't require leaving your job for 55 days or what have you to cross an ocean, because we realize that's not attainable for most people.
How can we as a community help you, and how can we get the word out to others besides doing shows like this to make sure that you get the funding that you need and that you get the support you need to do all this great work that you're doing to help other veterans and first responders?
So go ahead.
First of all, every dollar counts. We've partnered with donor advised funds, individuals who want to give $5 or $2 is a huge deal. And really the biggest way that you can help is just share the mission and connect us with veterans and first responders in your community, right? Other than providing financial assistance, is like, get me in front of whoever you think needs support right now. And let me, if I'm not the right guy to talk to them, like, I know people can't stand the sound of my voice, but they might like the sound of Pete's voice or Chris's voice. Or they might like the way that JT talks, So this is we're an incredibly experienced group of guys who've dealt with a lot of really hard stuff, and we're not afraid to talk about it. So in addition to giving us money and helping connect us and figure out how to get this mission accomplished, connect us with veterans and connect us with first responders that you think could gain something by being connected with us. And let me see if I can get them to Charleston. If I can pay for them to get to Charleston, I can pay to put them up. I pay for all their food while they're here, and put them on the water and just encourage them to go into whatever kind of treatment they need, right? Or whatever kind of resources they need access to. Pete, you want to jump in on that?
I could jump in on that, as well as kind of another thing that would really help us out too is just getting on our Instagram and following. We need to build a following and spread the word. And I think everyone uses Instagram, Twitter, all these things now. It's something that we're not very familiar with, being from the special forces community. We kind of get steered away from it a little bit. But connecting with us through Instagram brings attention and also brings sponsorships and other things like that. So we're pretty proud of our Instagram, even though we're not 100 million followers deep, but we're doing pretty well, and the more the merrier when it comes to the Instagram stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You may not have 100,000, but you do now, right? You got CJ in the house. You got all these folks supporting, man. You got everybody. And that's it. You don't have to build it, man. We're more than happy to share this because you guys service and sacrifice. You're helping, veterans with mental health and getting out and doing something. Who can't get behind that? Like we were talking backstage, it's like saying, I don't support cancer treatment. Like, come on, man. So everybody is happy. I'm happy to donate anything, man. Time, show, money. I think it's amazing. And so when it comes to cost, this stuff ain't cheap. And you guys you're covering, like Blake just said, you're covering, the expenses for veterans who can't afford this. So, break down the cost. I saw on your website, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. And you guys are putting all you got into it. So don't be shy, because this is something that people don't want to. They might know somebody who would be.
I'll tell you exactly how much it costs. So first of all, the boat, a new boat is going to run north of $100,000. There's only one company in the world that really makes them to standard. It's Rannoch, and they're based in the UK. We got a screaming deal on our boat and all of our equipment for $100,000. And that's that's being fronted by the team here, right? The rest of our expenses, it's $26,000 just to do the race. That's your race dues. So for us right now, for equipment and the race, you're at $126,000, and that doesn't factor in any of our, co-locating to train and lodging. We're crashing at Blake's house. It doesn't cover, 2 weeks of lodging in Monterey for the race requires you to be there early to go through all these inspections. That doesn't cover our food. We need 5 million calories. So you're looking at about $150,000. We have it listed as $158,000. And right now we still need to raise, we'd like to raise $200,000 to have a buffer for the next team. But going back to fundraising, where we've been the most successful is through corporate sponsorship. So something that I don't think we do the very best job of is highlighting the fact that this sport is coming to the U.S. That Rennick and the World's Toughest Row see the opportunity here and they want to grow it, but nobody really knows what it is. So unlike most teams, what differentiates us, I think, the most from all ocean rowing teams is most people fund this, they do it, and then they sell their boat and move on with their lives. We're building an organization that's going to be here for as long as we possibly can. So getting your logo on our boat is going to be marketing for you down the road. And I think some companies are kind of visionary and see that. Some companies donate to us just because they support us. And, we all know that donating to a 501c3 plays into a solid tax strategy or makes you feel good about yourself, whichever one works best. But it's about, I would say, $200,000. We can do it on 158. We're 40% there, I think, in fundraising. And would be, if anybody on the call, I see a lot of names here in the comments. If you know a business owner or somebody that could benefit from the taxes and the write-off, push them our way, because that's the biggest win. And we'll slap their logo on our boat. We'll tag you. We already have product sponsorships, like companies that give us things that, their followers collectively equate to hundreds and hundreds of thousands. And Free Fly Apparel is a huge company, and they give us clothing, and Hobie Eyewear gives us sunglasses. So there's a marketing advantage to donating to Corsa Racing as well.
Absolutely. I don't know about you all. I do know, because I can see the comments. I want to get them there. Who wants to get them there? I mean, like yesterday, get them there, man. I tell you what, people know people. Go share it. We'll make some short videos. We'll get it out there. We'll talk to people. I don't care. Worst they can say is no, right? I mean, hey, I'm a convincing guy. I'm Beetlejuice. Hey, I'll just go tell everybody. So I love this, guys.
Thanks, man.
There's one more thing I want to highlight on the cost. So there's a veteran that started, an Air Force veteran that started a film company based out of Vegas, and all of his employees are 1099. They work for Paramount Films, and they want to do a documentary on us. But they need like $15,000 to do the trailer. And once the trailer is complete, they'll go out and fundraise for the documentary. And the Paramount crew was like, we won't have issues fundraising. The challenge is going to be to make that trailer. So I always tell anybody that offers support or, hosts us or shows up or lives in Charleston, if you know anybody with a camera that's savvy with film, like, we can take that footage and give it to the film crew and play into a trailer. So you can add another $15,000 on our budget there to try to make this documentary happen. Wow. Otherwise, we'll just do it ourselves. We've seen Chris try to get on 5 times already, and we're,
I don't believe, man. Some things never change.
Oh my goodness.
So you got a contact page on there, and when you go to their website, courseracing.com, scroll down just a little bit, and there you go. You can sign up for a donation, partnership, or sponsorship questions. I encourage everybody to do that and share that with everyone else. Sorry, go ahead, guys.
So it's just like, right now I'm in California. So we got a donation last night I did for Corsa Racing. It was at the VFW here in Barstow. Wasn't a lot, but guess what? Every dollar helps. It was very, nice of them, because, I'm sure they probably only have about 30 or 40 full-time members there. But I was happy to go out and shake hands, take pictures, put that on Instagram. Also, I'd like to give a thanks to Hills People Gear, who provided us with some meals, not all the meals, as well as First Spear, who gave us an apparel. And so that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, it's not money, but it's also some things that we need on this boat to make sure we get this row across 2,800 miles.
And I'll also say that that boat expense, once we've purchased the boat or paid that off, now the operating cost to do this every year becomes, $30,000 max. And so the biggest hurdle for us is buying this first boat. And the next team, when they join our race, we're going to ask them to go fundraise $30,000, which is totally attainable in a calendar year, especially with the connections we've already developed. So we bear the brunt of the financial burden. And as our, the awareness grows, the community grows, and we get more sponsorships on board, that's when we'll start purchasing more boats, hosting our own races, teaching our own training courses that the race requires. We can make some money off of that. And a lot comes from owning the boat. So that's the big one. That's why it's so expensive for us.
Got you. You know what? And this is, like you said, this is something that over and over in the comments, we're seeing people say that they're going to reach out to people they know.
I love it.
They're going to connect you with people that you need to be connected with. They're people that have a lot of pull and have a lot of connections, have a lot of followers. Dr. CJ Leland, good grief. I mean, she was talking about, I just started my LinkedIn, or I just started my Instagram, and I've got 62,000 followers. I'm like, good grief. I think I have 62 followers on Instagram, for crying out loud. So, I mean, she's got zillions of people, and her and another veteran, Susanna Dawn, do anthologies. And so one of the ways that they can help is actually by creating an anthology and doing some fundraising in that way. And so there are a lot of people that are saying that they will help out, but we just need to keep getting that message, because I know that grind is that there's a lot of people that will say whatever, but it's got to be constant, and you've got to see those things happen. And I am so proud of you guys for all the things that you're doing. I'm so grateful that Irene introduced us, Pete, and then we started down this path, because
I think she's on right now.
Is she? Well,
I think so.
You tell your mom I love her to death. She is so awesome. She's amazing. Another incredible veteran that, just set the standard for women in leadership. And so very proud of your family and all that you're doing, and very proud of this group. And anything that I could do to shine a light on you, I got some mad skills with filming, so I will take that. I will come to Charleston with my camera, and we will do some filming and get that out there for you. But seriously, I want to go back to the pitch deck, and I want to talk to you, JT. When I was looking at this, and the reason I want to talk about this is because we've got a few minutes left, but when you present this out to and anybody in the audience that hasn't, Scott Heathman or anybody else, Jamie, Dr. Leland, I have a copy of it. Reach out to me, DM me, or DM Pete. We will happily give you this pitch deck so that you can give it to other organizations and other people that will respond. But JT, what's the best way when we're sharing this with people to have them reach out to you directly, or how would you like for people to connect with you so that we can talk about it and potentially get those sponsors for you?
Well, they can reach out to us on our Instagram, or personally, I usually say, hey, reach out to Blake or Peter, just because I'm usually out of town. And when I'm out, I'm usually also trying to make phone calls, making sure we get sponsors. But when the money comes, I'm like, hey, that's Blake or Peter or Chris. I just want to be the guy that's the face that's trying to get the donation.
Chris, is that you, dude?
As I said, yeah, that's me. On mute. I was like, damn it, I messed up.
But as far as the pitch deck, if they want to reach out, they can reach out to my Instagram. I'd love to talk to them about it. And not only that, it just wasn't me on this pitch deck. It was these four. I also have one of my best friends, he kind of walked me through Just like, hey, these are the things that you need to look at. Does it make sense? Why would they give you this money? Are you supporting veterans, or is this just an organization like some that we have out there? We know, they just take the money and don't give back. And so I really sat down and I looked at this pitch deck hard with my wife and said, hey, this is something that I want to present to the guys. And we just kind of talked it through and tried to make the best pitch deck that we could make to raise money, not only for veterans, not only for the firefighters and police, but people who are really suffering from TBI, PTSD, those mental issues, that we can give back and try to get them the help they need. So it's not, we see another 22 tomorrow because we couldn't support one person. So.
And every time Pete talks, I can't hear it, man. I don't know. So, but yeah, somebody in the back said that, Pete, and you could do that if you want. Hey, CJ just said she put you guys on the TV show, and nobody's surprised by that who knows CJ, right?
Yeah.
So she's like Santa Claus, but just
she is
way better looking. So yeah,
she's a Filipino Santa Claus. She's incredible,
man. She does. She makes everything accessible and affordable, and our partnership with Level Up and Dr. Constance Leland, unbelievable. So thanks to Chasen over here, man. He said, hey, I want to support these guys. I didn't even know. I didn't even have to know. I said, hey, if Chasen's is supporting it, I'll support it. And now, hey, I'm more than happy to get other people to support it. So you guys, I know you're not here to get, gushed on and, make you blush and everything. But dadgummit, look, service and sacrifice, and you're doing it again. I mean, I think it's amazing. I can't be behind it 100%, even more than I am now. Guys, I mean, unbelievable. I can't wait. I can't wait to go out there and help out. And anything you guys need, man, we're into it. So is there anything, last thing that you guys want to share with anybody? It could be anything at all, man. This is your time. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody on these comments. I wish I could respond. Please add me on LinkedIn and we can continue the conversation. And then lastly, you'll be able to follow us throughout the race. So my wife will be managing social media while we're on the water. We'll be able to send footage and clips back. So if you do give Courser, it's our Instagram is @courser.racing. And if you give us a follow, you'll be able to track us through there when we're training and we're out on the ocean. And you can also get on the World's Toughest Row website and you'll be able to see where all the boats are in real time. And that's fun to check up on every day. And, we'll provide you updates, but just want to say like a tremendous thank you to everybody that showed up. And then you, Mike, and Chasen for what you're doing for us. This has been incredible.
Hey man, we're just shining a light. We are just shining. You're doing the work. It's easy we're just the mouthpiece, man. We just got a bright light. So,
and I'm just a pretty face. I didn't have to do anything
pretty
today,
face,
man.
and the pretty face.
Yeah, Chasen came in and took over, and I love it, man, guys. So, Chasen, we got anything left, or are we gonna let these guys?
Oh man, we're gonna let these guys go. Blake, you got something, man?
Yeah, just one thing too. I mean, we have a community of people that clearly, I mean, it's so cool to be invited into a community of people that care about helping other people. Kind of to what JT was saying earlier, something that we say in our team, and I think it's really important to kind of echo and encourage you guys to tell people in your community that it's like these police officers, firefighters, and people who are in the military, they were called to service before. And their life didn't end and their service didn't end when they stepped away from uniform service. So if you see people in your community who are you think might be secretly struggling with mental health or like just a feeling of not doing something for someone else, like encourage them to find new ways that might be uncomfortable to continue to serve. And if you feel so inclined, connect them with us and let's just see where that conversation goes. Because if they're not interested in being on a boat with me and Pete and Chris and JT, then we'll find another way for them to serve. Just thank you so much again for having us.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Oh my goodness, man, what a show. Like I'm tired now. I gotta lay down.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm going to go give me a little canoe and go down some river. Oh, now I woke up. Now it's time to go.
Oh my gosh.
So
all right.
Seriously, on this note, guys, man, we appreciate you. Yeah, you're home, man. Be friends of the hounds forever. Whatever you guys need, man, we back you up. We appreciate you. And again, this is what I mean. I got to brag, not on me, man. Look, I'm like Dr. X, man. You look, these people make me look good. Do you see this? You see who I run with? Yeah, gummit, look.
Sindal, you queen.
Hey, I got Sindal, get her done in the back. She blushes every time that's Tanya's fault. So Sindal, get her done back there, making me look good. All the people in the chat, these are high level heart center professionals, man. It ain't no BS. All right. So if you're looking for a pack, hey, all the strays, welcome home. That's what I got to say. Courage before confidence, get stuff done. You guys didn't know you could do this. You just did it, right? You just said, hey, I got a passion. I'm going to figure this shit out. And that's what this is about. And I love it. I'll support anybody who's got the courage to do something before it's proven. And I think it's great. So, hey, everybody, check it out. We'll be posting this inside the Mighty Networks for the Hounds of Business community. We'll keep us updated. Man. We're not shy. Anything you guys can need or use, we'll put it out there. Look, it's proof positive. People want to help you. So without further ado, appreciate you guys. Hey, Chasen, don't steal my show now. They're going to mutiny coming, man.
I know. They're like, come on, man.
You're too good. You're too good.
Please.
Hey, but join us next week. You're in for a special treat. Dr. Constance Leland, CJ over here, will be hosting Jason Wilson and I always mess her name up. Rochelle Prosner. Thank you, Chase. See, look, he's going to take it. He's going to take my pack. All right. So you guys go out there. Hey, this is amazing. She's kicking cancer's butt. Absolutely. And this ain't no game. So we cannot, man, this show just gets great every week. Appreciate you. That's it, man. I'm going to start rambling and let these guys go, but I appreciate you guys. Love everybody. And we'll see you on the next one. All right. Next time.
You guys are
good.
awesome.
Go ahead and run that outro.
Thanks.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.